KUAM News Headlines is presented by Calvo's Insurance, serving Guam for 80 years. Matson Navigation, serving Guam and Micronesia for 20 years. The all-new 2018 Kona by Hyundai, available at Cars Plus. IP&E, fueling excellence. McDonald's of Guam, I'm loving it. And King's Restaurant, located in Tamuning and Dededo. Always open, always local.
Coming up on Primetime, on the brink of financially flatlining, the Guam Memorial Hospital needs an infusion of cash, stat. Plus, Adelup announces senior staffers will volunteer to take a 32-hour work week. And in Decision 2018 news, the results of a gubernatorial poll conducted by students at UOG.
Hafide and good evening.
They need the money and they need it now. Guam's only public hospital spent most of the day struggling to cut checks to pay its employees. CFO Anita Cruz confirming with KUAM they received $1.8 million from DOA and third-party payers to make net payroll.
But that's not enough, as hospital leaders have set the amount needed today, $2.3 million. Manglona says they'll have to work on collecting to cover the balance next week. This also comes after the government is facing drastic cuts across the board. Carmen Terlahi has the story.
It's payday, but some GMH employees spent most of the day uncertain if they'll be getting paid. This after GMH Administrator Peter John Camacho says with only $600,000 in the bank, they need $2.9 million to cut the checks. That's $2.3 million short. They called on the Department of Administration and third-party payers or local insurances to front the cost. Benita Manglona, Chief Financial Officer, adds, quote, "It shouldn't be a surprise. Everyone knows GMH lacks the funds and the legislature hasn't passed a bill to secure funding." But Payless Paydays was news to the board, who met Thursday evening. Board member Melissa Weibel says it's a no-brainer. They'll have to cut services.
I don't think it needs any more discussion. We already know the problem. We're short now. That's not going to change tomorrow. It's not going to change next week.
The board took action to cut costs, giving leaders authority to terminate GMH services at DOC, merge the urgent care with ER, move the SNU back to the main facility, and finally raise hospital rates. However, cuts like DOC will come at a hefty price tag. Though members say they might save $3 million, this can mean more costs, totaling up elsewhere and a backwards path for the prison towards its recently lifted consent decree. Newest board member Sonia Saliang.
Why every time when you ask the legislature for money, they can't see that? It's like all these band-aids and it starts to explode, and it is exploding right now.
Though Manglona says care won't be compromised.
If there's an emergency, they can send them here. Right. Right. We'll take care of them.
Same goes with the skilled nursing unit, Manglona says was already not meeting federal standards.
With SMU, we're not really complying with CMS because it's supposed to be within 250 yards of the campus. That's a new citation. We haven't been cited, but we've been told already that it's not meeting. And that's going to save money because, you know, they'll be here.
Saving money not the only item on the agenda. This was the first board meeting since news broke that GMH could lose its accreditation. Board member Lillian Posada says they haven't lost it just yet, but they'll know for sure next week. Reporting for Guam News Network, I'm Carmen Victoria Terlahi.
Thanks, Carmen. Well, responding to at least one of those cost-cutting proposals, Attorney General Elizabeth Barrett Anderson is urging the board not to terminate the MOU between DOC and GMH to fulfill the remaining consent decree orders mandated by the court.
For the 8th time in 3 weeks, senators gathered in special session. The governor again calling them in to address the government's financial crisis. The latest solution proposed by Senator Joe S. and Augustine would establish a new 2% general sales tax, which will raise an estimated $16 million by the end of the fiscal year. But along with the tax increase, Senator Frank Gunn Jr. moved to add as an amendment his bill that allows the governor to reorganize the executive branch to cut costs.
We have 2 fire stations that were shut down, supposedly because of budgetary concerns. We had our Gatnya precinct shut down or closed based on concerns about budgetary considerations. That's what we are faced with. We need to give this governor and the next governor, whoever that may be, the tools to be able to reorganize this government. Right now, we need to take some very serious action on passing legislation that would allow or provide the authority to the governor of Guam to consolidate and to reorganize this government.
Uggan's amendment also identifies priority positions in any proposed reorganization, with education, healthcare, and public safety topping the list. Senators recessed until Monday morning at 9 to continue discussion on that bill.
Well, citing the threat of near payless paydays, Adelup announced that the governor, lieutenant governor, and their senior staffers have volunteered for a 32-hour work week. The governor's office could not say yet how many employees will be taking the cuts or how much will be saved. The governor is also preparing line agency employees for possible furloughs or mandatory time off without pay. Cavill has already ordered a 10% across-the-board cut for executive branch departments in response to a projected $67 million revenue shortfall.
The announcement of the cuts follows a report we aired on primetime last night on the salaries of senior officials and special assistants up at Adelup.
Yeah, tonight in Chris Barnett Reports, he takes a look at how the legislature's spending your money.
Is it time to bust out the scissors and make cuts at the legislature? With agencies government-wide and Adelup already instituting cost-cutting measures, it looks like the legislature hasn't gotten the memo. In fact, senators have given out $50,000 in raises this fiscal year. Crunching the numbers, the senators have handed out taxpayer dollars to the tune of $100,000 in raises to 16 staffers in this legislative term. And that's only so far. Both central operations staff and senatorial staff hiring has increased since FY 2017, and with the legislature's own Office of Finance and Budget sounding the bells of doom about the devastating effects of the Trump tax cuts for months, it appears it's been in one ear and out the other with senators. And ironically, the Office of Finance and Budget takes up the second biggest chunk of the legislature's budget, the 5-person staff making an average total compensation of $80,000 a year. And the lion's share of that $400,000 budget for OFB goes to 32-year-old accountant Ricky Hernandez. Hernandez raking it in as the legislature's biggest baller, with a yearly compensation package of $115,000 to taxpayers. Hernandez, a certified government financial manager leading the OFB, and with a budget of nearly $500,000, the OFB still found $20,000 to hire an additional accountant for 3 months of work in FY 2017. With senators getting their pay brought back down to earthly levels, a vast majority of their staffers make more money than them. Senator Luis Muñoz Special Assistant Ed Lee pulls down nearly $80,000 in compensation, and Senator Michael San Nicolas's chief of staff makes $65,000 yearly in salary for the congressional candidate. So while the legislature is talking the talk, they haven't walked the walk by instituting a single cost-saving measure. With questionable contracts, travel, and rent payments, the salaries at the legislature are just the tip of the iceberg. For Guam's News Network, Chris Barnett reports.
Well, that was just a snapshot. Later this month, on the debut of the 30-minute monthly Chris Barnett Report show, he'll have a more in-depth look at how both branches are spending our money.
In yet another attempt to find money for the cash-strapped government, Senator Sen Nelson has introduced a bill that blocks the port from floating a first-ever bond until it complies with the 1985 law, which requires payment in lieu of taxes. In a news release, Nelson calls it a fair and equitable way to assess property tax on autonomous government agencies, just like those levied on private businesses. She says, quote, "It's important that everyone contributes their fair share, especially in light of this financial crisis," end quote. The legislature recently passed a bill authorizing the port to borrow up to $70 million for facility improvements. Acting Port General Manager Felix Pangilinan says they oppose any attempt to delay the bond borrowing. He reserved further comments, saying they're still reviewing the bill's impact.
And as the looming fiscal crisis continues to be a hot topic, the Guam Women's Chamber of Commerce hosted a panel discussion on the implications of the Trump tax reforms. Public Auditor Doris Flores Brooks says while corporations and individual taxpayers are the winners, the government is the big loser.
21 states increased tax revenues to the tune of just under $9 billion. 13 states decreased expenditures to the tune of $1 billion.
She predicts that GovGuam will also have to come up with a combination of raising taxes and cutting expenditures involving a similar ratio. She adds that government cutbacks might also filter out of the broader economy.
Even a 32-hour work week is going to have a ripple effect into the economy. People may not be able to pay their debts. People won't go out to restaurants. People won't be able to save for future trips. It's going to have a negative ripple effect.
Other panel recommendations include spending resources to qualify for millions in federal matching funds whenever possible, and making sure the cost-saving measures by one government agency don't create cost increases to another.
In Decision 2018 news, 564 voters were surveyed by public administration students at the University of Guam. 5 candidates were on the practice ballot that was used. 34% voted for Ray Tenorio, 23% Frank Uggan, 21% Lulian Guerrero, 15% Carl Gutierrez, 7% Dennis Rodriguez Jr. That poll was conducted between March 1st and March 3rd.
Wow, looks like the race is really turning out to be an exciting one.
Definitely.
Don't forget to check out Weekend Edition with Crystal, where we'll bring you every week our decision watch for this election season. And stick around for more news here on Primetime.
You're watching KUAM.
There are more ways to experience KUAM News than any other source on Guam. Download the KUAM News app for your Apple or Android device for 24/7 news, sports, videos, weather, streaming with KUAM radio, and important news alerts. And stay connected at home with Guam's first app for Apple TV. All available now from the App Store.
Half a day, I'm in the club.
Half a day, welcome to Two Lovers Point.
Half a day, I'm in the club.
Now you can choose your favorite Nissan rides and 30 flyaways on Philippine Airlines when you play Micronesia Mall's Your Best Choice giveaway. To play, present mall receipts to win a new Versa Note SR, the Crossover Rogue Sport SV, the Heritage Edition 370Z, or you can choose a tough Nissan truck. Plus, there are great instant prizes from Burger King and Foot Locker. Win more cars, trips, and prizes when you play Micronesia Mall's Your Best Choice giveaway.
There are more ways to experience Guam via KUAM News, giving you what you want, when you want, and how you want it. From smart devices, Alexa, what's in the news?
Here's your flash briefing.
Over the web, on mobile, on streaming platforms, with immersive, interactive formats, and via social media where it's more than just content, it's conversation. More ways to keep you informed and entertained whenever you want it, wherever you are, on whatever device you're using.
Just when we thought the clergy's sexual abuse lawsuits had come to an end, another filing was made in the District Court of Guam today. Only identified by his initials to protect his identity, 49-year-old JMR alleges he was molested and abused by now deceased Father Ray Tachira, who at the time was assigned to the Asin Parish and in charge of confirmation classes. JMR alleges the priest was upset by one of his questions and told him to wait after class. The teen boy was instructed to stand in prayer position while the priest unbuttoned his pants and removed his underwear. The priest told him he had sinned and that he was not ready to receive the sacrament of confirmation. Though the boy begged for the abuse to stop, he was scolded not to talk but to continue praying. The priest also reportedly told the boy, quote, "I need to do this to you to cleanse you of your sins," end quote. JMR then alleges he was raped. He is suing for $5 million. He's also represented by attorney David Lujan.
Well, a video of what appears to be a neglected child has been going viral on social media.
Bystanders witnessed a young child walking alongside a village road by himself with no supervision by an adult. Our Kiani Mendiola has this inner story.
It's a parent's worst nightmare. A boy no older than 3 was found wandering the village streets of Anigua, appearing injured and disoriented while walking alongside the road in the blazing sun. Jennifer Campos and her brother were heading home when they saw the child and immediately stopped to rush to his aid.
As we took a turn out here in the street, we saw a little boy. He really looked disoriented, as if he was hit or somewhat like that. And I told my brother to stop, and I literally just jumped out of the car and ran to him.
With a head injury and nothing but a pair of shorts on, Campus had thought the boy might have been hit by a car. She called 911. A closer look, the child was frantic and appeared to lack sufficient care.
Waited for the cops to arrive. So when they finally arrived, the cops went around to check where the parents were.
Campus believed the child may have been from around the area. In the video, you can see what appears to be a female officer announcing a lost child on the GPD vehicle's intercom.
Anybody missing a 2-year-old little boy? Someone came by and said, they're the neighbors. And the cop asked, where's the parents? The mother's around cleaning or something. The dad's home watching a baby.
GPD officers took custody of the child and accompanied the neighbor to locate his parents. Though it's not clear what happened next, Campus says that it's common to see unaccompanied children walking around the village.
Because I'm used to seeing the kids along the road, this one, he wasn't hit. He was just left alone, wandering the streets, and wasn't, he really looked like he came out of a jungle.
Which is what prompted her to share the experience on social media, to make others aware and to get involved.
I'm just glad that I found him, so with that being said, it's like, other people should know that just because you drive by, you walk by, doesn't mean the kid doesn't need help. It's you want to stay out of their business, but please, ask, are you okay? Where's your mom? Where's your dad? Care, because they might not be cared of. That's why they're out there in the streets.
Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Kiani Mendiola.
And no word yet on how that little boy is doing or if any arrests have been made. Guam police is investigating. And a man convicted on charges involving the smuggling of more than 400 grams of the drug ice appeared for sentencing in district court today. Timothy James Duenas was sentenced to over 5 years in federal prison with credit for the 30-plus days he has already served. KUAM files show in 2016, Duenas was arrested along with co-conspirators Caitlin Scully, David Sari, and Ryan Mesa for their alleged involvement in a drug transaction coming in from Hawaii. Defense counsel Jay Arreola asked for the court for leniency as this is Duenas' first criminal offense. In addition to his sentence, he will also have to attend a mandatory drug treatment program.
She'll spend her golden plus years in federal prison. 60-year-old Anita Cruz was sentenced in the District Court of Guam this week to 2.5 years in jail. Last year, she entered a guilty plea to distributing over 7 grams of the drug ice with a purity level of over 97%. Her case dates back to 2013 when she was pulled over by police who found suspected drugs on the passenger side of her car. Further investigation revealed she was dealing those drugs.
A search warrant executed Thursday at an Estumbo home led to the arrest of 5 people. Police spokesperson Sergeant Paul Spouse says the Medallion Drug Task Force, SWAT, and K-9 units found an undetermined amount of cash and prescription pills that tested positive for the presence of meth. Arrested on drug charges were 32-year-old Francine Mateo, 36-year-old Jason Mateo, 22-year-old Brandon Mateo, 29-year-old Daniel Sanchez, and 31-year-old Dwayne Mateo. All 5 were booked and confined. The case was forwarded to the AG's office for prosecution.
1 down, 1 more to go. GPD's robbery task force arrests one of 2 men caught on surveillance video of back-to-back robberies. The first occurring at midnight Tuesday at the game room in Tamuning, and the second an hour later at a gas station in Jotnia. Detectives caught one of the suspects in Santa Rita. Although he tried to flee, 23-year-old Jeremy Dean Duenas eventually surrendered. He was arrested for second-degree robbery. The search continues for the second suspect. If you have any information, please call Guam Crime Stoppers at 477-HELP.
Well, a bust over at the airport earlier this week, Guam Customs Agriculture K-9 unit had been alerted to prohibited pesticides and regulated seeds inside the bags of 2 passengers coming back from Manila on Monday. After further inspection, they found a large green vacuum-sealed bag and 50 packets of the items not allowed to be brought into the territory. Some of the seeds included pumpkins, kangkong, and okra. Officials say kangkong is a potential invasive species, and okra is regulated to prevent the pink bollworm from coming here. The pesticides were handed over to Guam EPA. The seeds will be destroyed.
An airport cop caught on camera for allegedly consuming store products without paying has been suspended. KUAM confirms Airport Police Lieutenant Dean Derek Delgado was recently served his disciplinary action following an internal affairs investigation. It was last December he was caught on video surveillance committing the alleged act at a local gas station. He is facing charges of theft and official misconduct. Airport management say they are unable to comment as it's a personnel matter.
The promotions are all valid. The Civil Service Commission Thursday night vacated their order made earlier this year to provisionally null and void several promotions at the Guam Police Department. An investigation was launched last year after police officer Jason Dodd asked the commission to look into the matter as he felt some of the officers were not eligible. 34 officers were promoted to the rank of sergeant. The CSC issued its earlier order stating the police department was not cooperating with the investigation. About a week later, Chief of Police Anita Cruz responded that they are willing to assist. The main thing looked at was the new post-fitness qualification test and the changes that have since been made to the law. In the end, the commission found that DOA handled the process appropriately.
It was just in time for International Women's Day. The International Women's Club of Guam joined in on signing the Half a Day Pledge at the Outrigger Resort Thursday night. It's the Guam Visitors Bureau's local community branding campaign that includes nearly 800 participants. Members also celebrated Women's History Month and Mes Chamorro during that event.
Well, sports is next, along with our next installment of our special series, Rise, showcasing yet another talented bunch. But first, here's your weekend weather.
Binging movies in bed shouldn't make you want to hide under the covers when the bill arrives. That's why all of GTA's home internet plans are unlimited. We believe that you deserve better than home internet with hidden data fees, because you should be able to cuddle without worrying about bill trouble. So the choice is yours. Bill shock with the other guys, or a life unlimited with GTA. Say goodbye to hidden data fees and make the switch today to GTA. Your island, your network.
Cars Plus and Mighty has the trucks. And during Ram Truck Month, save up to $97.50 on new Ram trucks. Cars Plus has a great selection of 2018 Ram trucks. Plus, shop our remaining 2017 Ram 1500s. Voted Guam's best truck 2 years in a row. The Ram truck comes with a 5-year, 60,000-mile powertrain warranty. And with 1.99 APR financing for qualified buyers, there's no better time to buy than now. It's Ram Truck Month, and only Cars Plus and Mighty has the trucks. Cars Plus, driven by you.
The 2017 Nissan Altima and Sentra. Now with Nissan Intelligent Mobility, featuring automatic emergency braking that can help stop for you. Take on today. Get to your local Nissan dealer for great offers like this.
The Down Syndrome Association of Guam exists to support families of individuals with Down syndrome. We're a group of parents who have children with Down syndrome and know the joys and challenges of raising them. For more information about the health, development, and education of a child or adult with Down syndrome, please contact Vicky Areola at 472-6114.
KUAM Sports is presented by Triple J.
What's up, Guam? Dave Delgado here for KUAM Sports. Thanks for watching the show, brought to you by Triple J. It's that time of the week again where we hit you up with our Dial-A-Rent-A-Own Athlete of the Week. Check it out. We're here at Dar Rentone Dedido for our Athlete of the Week. Today we have Brandon O'Malley, who plays football for the Outlaws in the GovGuam Men's Varsity Football League.
Congratulations on being Dar Rentone's Athlete of the Week. Who would you like to present the check to?
I'd like to present it to the Faha Outlaw organization.
Playing offensive lineman on probably what's the biggest O-line in the men's football league. How has it been in the trenches battling with your teammates?
Oh, it's been pretty good. A lot of coaching from Travis Meno really helps. Also from Big Bill. He's a real help to us. Really helps us get through the games that count.
A running back like Jacob Flores pounding that rock behind you guys. How much of a stress reliever is that, having a running back that's able to move those chains and keep drives alive?
Oh, it's real helpful, real motivation for the O-line to do a lot better. You know, try to get them as many yards as possible.
Two quarterbacks. You got the young Phillips back there, a veteran quarterback like Ben Whitaker. Anything changes with those guys back there at QB?
Not too much. We just, always protection. That's what we go for. And, those two they balance each other out at trainings, help each other out doing certain plays and stuff. But other than that, man, they're both pretty solid.
Big game for you against the Cowboys. 5 for 5 on PATs and a strip on special teams that you took back to the house for a touchdown.
Yeah, that was an incredible play. Wouldn't have done it without my blockers. If you notice in the video, man, I stripped the ball, started running up the field. You could see the blockers in the background doing their job. So it was really a all-around team effort for that one.
And what was it like after the game, guys, just hanging out, talking about that play in general?
Man, it was crazy. I got everybody on the sideline riled up. It was a good time. Yeah.
This weekend's game, big matchup for you guys, playing against the defending champions, Eagles, on Saturday.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough game. We're looking forward to it. We're hoping to come out with our best and come out with the W as any team would. But, it's going to be a fun, hard-hitting game. Come out and watch.
All right, congratulations. Stay tuned to our next Dar Rentone Athlete of the Week.
KUAM Sports Athlete of the Week is brought to you by...
The 46th Annual Chamorro Open Tennis Tournament will kick off with skilled singles on March 17th. Deadline to register is March 12th. Visit gntf.org for more information. The cost is $20 for GNTF members. Non-GNTF members are $30. Skilled doubles are scheduled for March 24th. Junior singles, doubles, and age singles will be on April 7th. Skilled mixed doubles is set for April 14th. Junior fee is $5 per entry and are required to register online. Keeping with tennis news, IIAAG three-time defending boys high school tennis champions, the Father Duenas Friars, making a four-peat after being declared champions. FD tied Harvest 28-28 in their regular season meeting and finished the season with identical records at 8-0-1. They were determined as champions using the IIAAG tiebreaker guidelines. Since the Friars allowed fewer games, 58 versus 73, they were awarded this year's championship title. This marks the second four-peat for the Friars, their 8th championship in the last 10 years. Well, that's going to do it for sports. We're back right after this.
The brand new Nissan Rogue Sport, now with available Nissan intelligent mobility technologies, like automatic emergency braking, now on the Nissan Rogue family. Take on today. Get to your local Nissan dealer for great offers like this.
This is pollock, and this is pollock, but they're totally different. One is pollock South Dakota, and the other is real wild-caught Alaska pollock from a certified sustainable fishery. And that's the pollock you'll find in the McDonald's Filet of Fish. So, no matter where you are, you can always get real fish caught sustainably from here. So let's review. This is that one place called pollock, this is real wild-caught Alaska pollock, and this is who can bring it all together, sourced from a sustainable fishery. And it's delicious.